Hello everybody and welcome, my name is Gradius, and by the title of this video you should know that this is going to be a mod showcase for Medieval 2 Stainless Steel Mod 6.4. So, just to be clear, perfectly clear at the very start of this video, this is not going to be how you download the mod. This video is going to be only on the features that the mod presents, or the mod gives you. Because there's plenty of other videos on how to download it that you can find on YouTube that are just excellent. And I don't need to add to those. It's just, yeah. Anyway, continuing on. So, Medieval 2 Total War. Excellent game. It is very dear to me because the first Medieval Total War was the game that actually started me into the Total War series. So, I really have a lot to thank for this game because it just it took that game and it just made it 100 times better. But, now, as for the Stainless Steel 6.4 mod, this mod adds a whole crap ton of stuff. It is excellent, and I would highly, highly recommend everyone to get it. Now, first of all, you do need to get the Kingdoms mod, or the Kingdoms DLC, which adds the Britannia, the Knights Templar, the Teutonic Knights, the Crusades, and the Americas campaigns, which you can go ahead and play those. I would recommend first, because those are fun. They add a lot of extra content as well, and you can pick them up pretty cheap from the store, unless you bought Medieval 2 and the mod and the DLC together in some sort of sale package. But before we go into the main campaign, this mod does add a lot more of the historical battles. Although these are just fun little battles. You can play as the French in the 100 Years' War, Polish fighting off the Mongols, Scotland or England, depending on which you prefer. Byzantines against the Turks, Crusader states versus, I'm assuming, the Turks, East and Turkey. And the famous Lake Peipus, where the Teutonic Knights were defeated by, were defeated. And then Vilnius, where you play as the Polish, Lithuanians versus the Teutonic Knights. And they also have Horton, which is just a custom-made little map where the English fight off the Danes. But anyway, we'll be getting into an early era campaign. Now, first thing you should notice overall is, yes, the background is different. We have a Crusader sergeant in his garb. That is the new background. Now, going into an early era campaign, you have a whole lot of things are new. First off, you'll notice that the shields for the factions are completely different. They're all wonderful. Now, there are also new factions. Some they have taken out and replaced with others. Some they have just included. One that they took out and replaced was Genoa. Formerly, this was Milan in the original Medieval 2 game. So it's more historically accurate, I suppose. Now, they also added the Crown of Aragon. Now, original Medieval Total War players will know that Aragon was a playable faction. They took it out in Medieval 2, but this mod adds it back in, which I just love. I think that is excellent. Now, they also added Crusader states, the Cuman Khanate. Let me see, the Khwarezmian Empire, Norway, Lithuania, and Kiev. They took Novgorod and split it, which is historically accurate. Now, with the new factions, they include a list, or a little historical background, different victory conditions depending on long and short, and you will notice that the start time is different. It is 1100 AD. Whereas the original game, Medieval 2, started off at 1000 AD. This one speeds it up. That's why you're able to have the Crusader states. Now, what they have done, the mod makers, is they've taken the Kingdoms pack and they have shoveled it into they stitched it into the game at certain points. Now, 1100, we can start off. This is at the very end where the First Crusade were successful. They managed to get the Crusader states up and running, and you can play as them instead of having to go through the Kingdoms mod. But right now, we are not actually going to be starting a new campaign. We're going to go back and continue a campaign I have been doing. And you will notice that, oh yeah, one thing you should have noticed was that it adds a whole lot of new music and background scenes as well. And I think it adds a few new quotes. I'm not quite sure. But I wanted to just show you around a little bit. Now, this is my Genoa campaign. I've been playing for quite a while. And we're now in the 1300s. And I'm just about to win, actually. I just need to take one more territory from the Venetians. Now, my goals were, let me see here, to take 50 territories, including all of these. We had to eliminate Sicily, the HRE, and the Venetians. Now, the Venetians are way over here. Sicilians are gone. I took their last territory, which was not Al-Mahdiya. It was Naples, I believe. They were annoying. And the HRE got destroyed itself by a combined assault by France and Poland. And a little bit myself and a little bit of the Danes. But then France overran Poland. They're no longer alive. Oh yeah, Scotland took Paris as well. Now, and I'm basically at war with freaking everybody. Go figure. That's how that works in this game eventually. Now, this game, this mod just adds so much, and I would just love to, before we go into battle, I'd like to show off a few things. Now, I believe it was gunpowder was in the game in the 1200s, and in the original you could just automatically get firearm troops. Not in this mod. This makes it so that I just recently been able to get a gunsmith in the 1300s. Which does make it an interesting challenge. Now, this mod adds a whole lot of new units and buildings. Just retrain all these, it doesn't matter. It adds a whole lot of new buildings. The warehouse is new. University, coaching house, or actually no, not coaching house, artist studio. If you go look over here, let's see, where is that one building? It has a whole lot of new civic buildings as well. Pastry shops, bake houses, stonemasons' huts, logging camps. Those are all for the economics. I don't think there's any new military buildings. I could be wrong. I don't think so. And it does add a whole new, a lot new of troops. Now, first things first, you will notice that instead of the dull, gray, boring panel at the bottom, this is now wonderfully decorated, and I think it is awesome because I went back to play one of the the DLC Kingdoms maps, and it just looked terrible because I'm so used to this now. Now, I mean, you know, before I knew this mod, I had this mod downloaded. You know, the normal gray background was just fine to me for this bottom, and now that I've got this with these wonderful sculptures, I can't go back. It's just wonderful. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. Now, the mod takes a whole lot of, there's a whole lot of new things it does. Now, there are two timelines you can start at. You can start early era campaign or a late era campaign. Early era is starting at 1100. Late era is starting at 1220. Now, you will notice if you're carefully looking, the Teutonic Knights are here. The Teutonic Order has been implemented. Now, as I did say, they stitched in the kingdom mods. This means in 1220, the Teutonic Order does come about. And if you play a late era campaign, you can play as them. The Khwarezmians were down here. They're long gone. The Mongols completely decimated them. You also have the new faction, Kiev, which is right in this area here of the map. Now, the map is expanded. Norway's here, by the way. The map has been expanded. Aragon is right here as well. Instead of it going from about here up to here, and generally it'll just curve around here and cut off this area here, and you might have a little bit of Finland, I'm not quite sure. But then it only, over here, it only going down to the Caspian Sea area, and then about down to here, and it just cut a straight line all across about here, straight through Africa. And but the mod actually makes the map a whole ton bigger, and it is most excellent. Added new territories, And it took a lot of existing territories and broke them up in more historically accurate areas. One example would be London. Now, London would usually encompass all of this area, but the mod breaks up into Nottingham and Winchester as well. And that is great. Now, it also adds a lot of historical buildings, which I did not, I almost forgot, including St. Mark's Basilica. And that's an actual picture. It gives you a little bit of history of the place. One other example would be in Jerusalem. It adds the Dome of the Rock. One other one would be down in Mecca. It adds the holy site in Mecca. An actual picture of that place. Let me see. Oh, Mercenaries. Now, the Mercenaries have been upgraded in this game. Now, there are a whole lot of new units. Urban Spear Militia, Pavis Spear Militia, and they add a whole lot of new coat of arms pictures and stuff. Best example would be on my army, my Feudal Foot Knights. They have a new shield and look and everything. Now, compare that to the Venetians. Yeah, shut up. Where's their knight unit? I could have sworn they had a knight unit in here. Hold on. No, I don't want that. Oh, well, each person has a new coat of arms depending on their faction. And that is just awesome. Now, it adds new, let's see, new pictures, new units, new mercenaries. Now, the mercenaries previously were just regular mercenary spearmen lookalikes. Now, this mod adds not only new mercenary units, but also it makes it so that there are certain types of mercenary units can only be available after a year, after a certain time here is reached. So, I just recently got mercenary longbowmen available in Italy at some year in 1300s. I couldn't get those previously, so that adds a new sort of thing to it. A lot of the features were the map was bigger, the texture on the map was made better. This road, instead of flat and dull looking, actually looks like it's got mountain depth to it and 3D-ness. The roads have been expanded just a bit through the mountains, so it's easier to travel. They did add a lot of new resources. They didn't have textures, so they made it sugar piles or something like that. Like right here, this would be a new, I believe, a new resource. And they added them in the wasteland areas too, where there's not a lot. And they moved the stuff away from the main roads, so merchants can actually be able to be about their business better. Let me see. I have a list here. I'm going down it. Texture. Yeah, most of the new territory is historical. They've taken the names. If they've taken names and they've changed them more historical names and stuff like that, which is just wonderful. Let's see. Bigger map, new buildings. Yeah, we had the faction spawns, which are new. Now, when the Teutonic, what's great is when the Teutonic Order comes in. So, if you remember from the Kingdoms mod, or the Kingdoms DLC, when you start a new game, you get that cutscene about the Teutonic Order fighting Poland and the Lithuanians. That is in here. It comes as a little side pop-up screen when they form. It is just awesome. The only other example is from the Britannica DLC, when William Wallace comes in. He will, his little cutscene shows up on the map as well. And I'm pretty sure they have one for the Americas. I'm not quite sure yet, though. I haven't reached that far. Let me see. I think that's all I wanted to show right now on the main map. Apart from... Oh, I know. Now, they added a whole lot of new traits, character traits, for generals and family members. Now, one thing they did add, which is excellent, is the ability to become lords of cities. Now, let's say I took Varad, or no. Let's say I take Brasov, which I will in a second here, with a general a new family member who is not a lord. Within one turn or two turns, if he stays there, he'll become Lord of Brasov, and becoming a lord of the city allows for a tax increase. They've also included new character traits, including a system of army supplies and foraging. Now, when you have supplies, when you're out and about in the field, you can't stay there forever. In the original game, let's say you wanted to stop someone coming off a bridge, just put an army at the bridge. No one's going to mess with them. They can stay there for as long as they like. This game, they have supplies. If this is in enemy territory, those army supplies are going to go down from 100% to 75% to 50% to 25% to nothing. And then they'll be stuck on foraging. Now, and then it goes back and forth, depending. That is one other thing they added new retinues as well. The Decameron. That's new. Oh, it increases popularity. That's interesting. That is very new. Let's see. What else did they add that I need to go into besides new stuff? Oh, that's okay. Right now, we're just going to do the quick last battle of the game and destroy the Venetians and win.
Kill them all, men!
And it's a new background. Alright, we are in. And let's get our siege weapons up. Now, this place does not have a lot of troops in it, so we're okay. We're just going to charge in. And I'll show you a bit more of the new stuff in battle. That's why I wanted to show you guys. We're going to just get everything ready here for our charge inside. Now, if you're carefully looking already, you can see we have very new units available to us, including Mercenary German Knights. Those are excellent. We're just going to get you started on the gates. We're going to open them up. Alright. Oh, gosh. Ah, good. They're delayed. Excellent. Now, here's our new units. Our new mercenary unit available in the game, but only later in the 1200s or 1300s. I think 1300s you get these guys. Now, these guys have maces and they're just mean-looking sons of guns. Now, we also have mercenary Pavis crossbowmen available to us. Now, one thing that is new about this is it adds captains. Now, this little fella here would normally be the leader in a captain-led force. But the mod adds it so that every unit has its own extra captains to lead them. So like there, and there, and there. And it's a really nice feature. I really do like that a lot. Alright, we're just gonna have to wait for the walls to come down. We're just gonna do a little bit of speeding up. But I've been meaning to destroy the Venetians for a good while now. They've been very frustrating. And this is it. Once I win this battle, I win the campaign. It's been a long one. It's been very frustrating too. Now, in the late era campaign, you can actually play, and a lot of people will be happy to hear this, you can play as the Mongols, which is just freaking awesome. I think you could actually play as the Mongols in the original game, and they did take that when Medieval 2 came through. And I was quite sad by that. Come on, come on. I just need to get through one gate. If not, I'll go through a wall. You know what? Screw it. This is going to take forever. I'm just going to go through the wall. Because if I run out of shots before I get through, I will lose. And I don't want to do that. Excuse me. Yeah, but with the new units, yeah, they have... Here's another one we got. Prussian Spearmen. It's just a wonderful mod. They also added new flags to everything, new coats of arms to all the factions. As I said, with the heavy infantry here, they've got the new look to them. It's just a wonderful mod. Now, I do have a few complaints about the mod, which I will go into detail after the battle when I get to the main screen. There are just a few that I have, not too much. They've been doing a good job of updating the mod. I guess while we wait, I can talk about the downloading process. Now, This is not going to be about download. This is just going to be a little bit of information that you're going to need. Before you download this, which I would suggest going through the TotalWarCenter.com. That's the best place to download it. They'll have links there to get the mod. You're going to need a downloader first, which you're going to need a downloader program, which I used uTorrent, which is a free one, and it's probably the least buggy. But you're going to need to download that first. Then you're going to need to download the mod. Now, the mod's in 2 parts. You got 6.1, stainless steel 6.1, which is the base. Then 6.4, which is the updated version, which includes, it fixes out a lot of stuff. But you need 6.1 as the base. Alright, come on. I'm up to 6. Here we go. Alright, we're almost through. And we're just going to charge in. These guys are going to be pushovers. Oh, and the mod does add a whole lot of new music files. In the original game, I think it said there was 89 music files. This mod makes it so that it's 141, which is just awesome. Almost through. Almost through. Come on. We're just getting shot here.
We are through the enemy's walls, into the breach for glory and victory.
Excellent. We're just gonna charge right through so we can get this done as soon as possible. Alright. Oh, we were doing okay against the gatehouse, but not the actual wall, or not the actual gate. Now, there's one problem. In the original game, when you comes up with the pop-up that you took the gatehouse, it would stop the oil from pouring on you.
The battle is in our favor. If we remain true and wholehearted, victory will be ours.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Even if it says you take the gatehouse, it will still pour oil on you, and that makes it
The enemy general flees like the coward he is. Press onward and break the spirit of his army.
Alright, we're just going to charge
Give
straight
grace
through.
to God. We have captured the enemy's walls.
We're going to get some of our guys to stay back here. Alright, but we still capture the gateway, so it doesn't matter too much. So,
My lord, our men have taken control of the city.
I would recommend destroying the gatehouse in most battles where they have the ability to pour oil on you, so you can avoid unnecessary casualties. Now, I don't think I've lost a family member to the oil yet, but it's come close. Alright, we're just going to... Either I will take this city center... Oh, look, there's some brave soul that's still fighting. Oh, it's their leader.
We are blessed. The enemy general is dead. We have sent the idiot to hell.
Oh, yes, you can play as the Khwarezmian Empire as well, which is just fun. Alright, we're almost done with this. Let's get a little closer look here. There we go. It's our spearman sergeants taking fight with their police spear militia. So I can't tell you how happy I am, because the Venetians were just a thorn in my side forever. Excellent. We're just going to end the battle.
Fate has been kind to us and delivered us victory.
It has. Ha ha. Excellent. We took Brasov.
We show little
And
mercy.
the Venetians are dead. Victory! Yes!
Congratulations, noble lord. Under your magnificent reign, Milan's matchless traders and warriors have built a glorious empire.
Yeah, as you can see, the mod still makes it so that it's
I will
Milan
enjoy your land
instead of
and
Genoa, but
women
that's okay.
soon enough.
But yes, now that that battle's over, and technically I did win, but I do want to point out a few things. Yes, now, as for...
Was
I
that
don't
an attack?
think you can destroy the papacy in this one either. Now, as for my one complaint,
Name the field of battle.
that would be of the heretics.
And
Now,
you
a
will
lot of
name
people
yourself to
complain
purgatory.
about this as well, is that the heretics are stupidly
Once I
powerful
convert you,
in this mod. They will spawn, and they will have a whole ton of influence slash piety, or what's I was hoping to find another one besides this guy, but
It matters not how pious you
yeah,
are.
piety.
Your
So it
idol
makes
is
them
false.
from mostly the very start of when they spawn, throughout the rest of their lives, they have a very high piety, and they're very hard to get rid of. You cannot. It's very difficult to assassinate them, and so it makes it very difficult. Now, some people have made it the suggestion of downloading another mod to fix it, which you can, but I kind of leave it in just for the challenge. Now, so I think that was about all that I needed to explain in the mod. As far as I can tell, and right now I've been doing a, well, just by using the mod, right now I've been doing a late era short campaign with the Teutonic Knights. It's been kind of fun playing as them, or destroyed Lithuania and everything. Yeah, they were destroyed a while ago. Or Lithuania, oh well. And you can see the Mongols have been completely decimating everybody. The Egyptians were really powerful, but then the Mongols came along. Yeah. But I think that's all that I needed. Oh, I remember one other thing. Oh, here's another heretic. Yes, he's got full freaking piety. It's just, it's crazy. But it adds a bit extra. Now, the Crusader states are destroyed. But sometimes the game does spawn a priest or maybe a diplomat or a merchant that they don't move anywhere. Now, one other thing the game makes is that the rebels, the independent states, it gives them traders and well, merchants for their own use as well, which is something new. They don't, and I guess the heretics are technically part of the rebels, I guess. But it does add. Let me see if I can find a new example of some of the newer unit type looking.
I will defeat you.
Oh,
honorably, my
Maceman's a
worthy
new
foe.
unit, new mercenary unit as well. Let's see, I think that's all that needs to be covered. Except for this. I highly recommend this mod. It is so much fun and excellent. I don't think I will be ever going back to...
So much for surprising you.
I don't think I will ever be going back to the original game. Just this mod makes it look so awesome and wonderful. But I think that's just about everything. Oh, one other thing. This bottom area here with all the statues and everything, that changes depending on the faction. Let's say if you play as the Lithuanians, which are pagan, living in forests, that sort of thing. A lot of wooded areas. This is mostly going to be wood instead of marble and stuff like that. So it depends on the faction. You'll get new background stuff and things like that. Now you do get some new missions as well, I believe. I can't quite remember what they are, but you do get some new ones. But oh yeah, and you can see through the Pope you have the newer factions, including Norway, Teutonic Order, and Aragon. Secretly female. Jeez. That's not good for a pope to have, I guess. But I think that's all I can show in the video. I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and please do go download this mod. You can go look up a video on how to do it. And I will see you guys in the next video, or whenever I make. So, I did forget one more thing. Now, the mod is big on customization and your options, your playable options. Now, what I mean by that is when you're in the mod, or when you download the mod, it gives you a lot of options for what you can have on and what you can have not. And you can find these options if you go to your local disk on your computer, go to Program Files, go to Steam Apps, hold on. Whoops, nope. Come on. Steam Apps, Common, Medieval 2 Total War File, Mods, which this is where the Americas, this is all the Kingdoms one. Now, when you download the mod, you replace one of these. This is the original Americas, the Kingdom one. So this is stainless steel in here. It confuses the game thinking that it's going to be Americas, but it's stainless steel. You go to Setup. Now, you go to Campaigns. You can choose your early or late era. Let's just do late era. Now, in the options, this is what I was talking about. This is the options you can choose. You can choose the type of AI. We're talking how aggressive they are. Not for difficulty on campaign or battle, but how bad they will attack you. You can have Lusted, which is the base, it says. It's pretty fairly easy game. Savage AI, which is more backstabbing than Lusted, but not as much as Gracul. Now, by backstabbing, I mean they're going to be your ally, but if they're powerful than you, they're going to attack you no matter what. Now, Gracul, that is the hardest one, which means there's war all the time, and it says you can actually lose. They will attack you if you are weaker than them. One of the other options is the Grim Reality mod. Now, I have Grim Reality number 2, I believe, although not for this one. I probably should. Yes. Now, Grim Reality, though, you can look up the Grim Reality. There are a lot of features I won't go into, but it does add the the supply system I talked about. The army supplies 100, 75, 50, 25. Now, number 4, the Reality number 4 adds a whole lot of things called Zeal, which means that in recruitment issues, where let's say you have a general that does not have a lot of zeal, in a castle that could recruit both the basic spear units and the chivalric knights. If he has not a lot of zeal, he cannot recruit those chivalric knights. He can only recruit the basic spear unit. It also adds a war council with your king, your two best generals, but it's I don't play with that one right now, not until I'm better acquainted to it. Real recruitment. Now, what real recruitment is in the original game, you could recruit, let's say, 5 units. You could recruit 2 units of chivalric knights and, let's say, 2 units of archers and a unit of spearmen. In turn, those are going to be yours. Next turn, you could recruit the same units, and probably same amount. Real recruitment is going to be, let's say, you can only get the 1 unit of chivalric knights. Once you get that 1 unit at that city, you gotta wait about 5 or 6 turns, depending on how expensive the unit is, before you can recruit another one. You know, gotta take time for the blacksmith to get all that armor remade and swords done. Limited activities. That means that you cannot build buildings. Well, you cannot custom build your buildings. You cannot choose your buildings unless you have a governor in there. If you don't have a governor, a family member in the city, you have to auto build. You have to set the building to auto manage for the computer. No, I don't. Let's see, longer assimilation, which I love this one. Basically, you take a town, it's going to take a turn before you can actually rebuild your buildings and retrain your forces, because it's got to get new government and everything. Religion's an issue there as well, and I do love to play that one. So it takes longer for you to recruit and retrain your units in the settlement you just conquered, especially if there's a culture difference. Permanent arrows, I don't play with that one on. That makes, in the battle, the arrows do not disappear. They stay on the ground. Now, that's only if you have a good enough computer. I would suggest doing that one. And permanent watchtowers, that one's okay as well. At the start of the game, it makes watchtowers everywhere in set locations by the mod. But these are the options that you can have in the mod, and it just makes it just excellent. And again, these are the earlier and later campaign. So anyway, that was all I need to show you guys. Thank you very much again for watching. Ta-ta!